the things that we wanted to do for BioShock 2 was bring a lot more variety to the enemy set, and also with the player playing a prototype Big Daddy, we knew that we had to sort of provide some guys who were a little bit buffer than your standard sort of deranged guy with a flashlight running at your face. And so the big one there that we saw was the Brute Splicer, who is one of the original generation of splicers all the way from 1959, who survived over 10 long years splicing up, feeding off his friends, all the rest of that, and he's developed into this big, beefy, hulking guy who's capable of picking up large objects, throwing at you, charging you, and then beyond that, the other splicers have evolved as well. You've probably seen the spider splicers from Bio 1. Those are the guys who crawled on the ceilings. Those guys have evolved a bit since BioShock 1. They've got much longer, sort of creepy, distended arms. They're capable of perching on the walls and doing their attacks there. So hopefully there'll be a bunch of different surprises as we play through the game like that. Our first challenges early on was the expectations that people have for Big Daddy, and I mean that was the first thing we did, was sort of figure out what are the things that if you're saying you're going to play as a Big Daddy, if you don't do, you're just an idiot. And if we didn't give the player, the drill to play with, it would have been like, I can't believe they made a game where you're a Big Daddy and you don't have the drill. And so that sort of determined a lot of what kind of the weapon set, abilities, and you can dash just like the bouncer and things like that people really wanted to see when they were playing as a Big Daddy. And then from there, trying to figure out what we had to do to kind of the enemy ecology to have them keep pace with that, because we definitely had to supply that feeling of being a Big Daddy. And from the core gameplay side, a lot of it is. It can get more intense than BioShock 1. I mean, some of the sequences that you've seen today and the gather sieges that you do with the little sisters, it is higher turnover of enemies because the guys at the chumpier end of the spectrum are much, much chumpier. Like I said, the guy with the stick doesn't present much of a challenge to you as a Big Daddy, but we've got a lot of guys much higher up on that food chain, and things like the Brute Splicer, and then all the way at the top, the Big Sisters, who are sort of terrifying to you even as you are a Big Daddy. So it's really finding a way to make you feel strong, but also make you feel